Live in Auburn, there's a campaign to save the Dewitt Theater.
Yes, Elisa Becerra is there live because, well, they're rehearsing for an upcoming play. But Elisa, this could get replaced soon.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at a theater like this, it was built in 1944, one of these old theaters with a great deal of history, and now there is a move to save it because, yes, it could be getting a career change, the spot we're talking about. It could become a Costco. So joining us now is Renee Berg. She's with Save Dewitt Theater. Tell us about what happened that you had to get to this point.
Okay. Well, Costco has submitted a proposal to the county of Placer County to put a Costco here, and this theater would be in the corner of their parking lot, representing 42 parking spaces. And so I stepped in, seeing that this is not a good thing, and got a committee together. We have the Facebook page Save Dewitt Theater to inform people what's going on, and so I have been, going to meetings at the county to see at what phase it's at. So it's just at the beginning, but I needed to get in at the beginning so they know that
there are people here who love this theater.
Yes.
Let's talk about this theater. In doing this campaign to save the theater, you've probably learned a great deal of history about what's transpired here in this building, and to hear that Bob Hope graced that very stage is just amazing.
Yes, it's the more I dig into it, the more interesting it gets. And so this was a military base. It was a hospital for World War II soldiers that were wounded, and it opened in 1944. Next week, it's February 26th, will be their 70th, the
Wow.
70th anniversary. And it was open till March, so 2 years before the war ended, and there was no more need for soldiers, the wounded soldiers, and it became a state mental hospital after that, and then ran as that for 25 years, and then it became, open to private businesses to come and lease the property, and it was a movie theater for like 18 years, ran by an amazing lady that I've learned more about through this whole process. Her name was Connie Burke, and just showed discount movies, and everyone has such fond memories of her. So it has, that, effect on the community too. It's like, what? I went there in high school, and I lived there, and I brought my dates there. I mean, it just has that feeling.
Well, and so now you're trying to save this theater. If people want to come along and help you, what do they need to do?
Well, at this point, they should just go to the Facebook page, Save Dewitt Theater. I put every update on what we're doing because we have a committee now, and we're putting our key talking points together because we're going to, want to do a letter writing campaign. If we need people to come to, Board of Supervisors meetings or what, that's where they'll learn about it. We're also creating a website, but I don't want to say what that is yet because we haven't launched it.
Yeah, that's still in the works. So a lot of ways people can reach you if they want to help. And we're going to let you know that a little later in the newscast, we're actually going to talk to someone from the county and talk about what those plans are and how they've arrived, and what the status is about maybe putting a Costco here. But Renee, thank you so much for joining us, and thank this theater group because they are prepping for Bye Bye Birdie. Thanks a lot. Back to you guys.
We'll see what happens with that.
Absolutely. Checking in Auburn.
Yes, we are. So there's a campaign to save the Dewitt Theater, and Elisa Becerra is out there live. And what's being replaced, or what it could be replaced by, Elisa, I think is really what has people up in arms.
It is, and it's actually, this building's been here for 70 years, and people get nostalgic about that sort of thing. This was built in 1944. It was part of the Army. It has many transitions throughout its lifetime, but now the next transition for at least this area might be a Costco, and there's a reason for that. We're joining us now is Mary Dietrich. She's with Placer County. Tell us why the possibility of taking a building like this down to be replaced by a Costco is probably going to happen.
Well, as you just mentioned, the facilities are 70 years old. They were built as a World War II hospital, built of unreinforced masonry, and the codes that are in place right now are very different than those that were in place when these buildings were built. We're looking for some economic opportunities for the facility that Costco brings. They're a very well-respected retailer. I think the community is anxious for a retail operation like that, and so we're looking forward to that opportunity.
What about those who might say this is kind of like that old Joni Mitchell song, pave paradise and put up a parking lot? Is that the case here?
Well, our department has had 25 years of experience in operating and maintaining these facilities, and they're very costly. As I mentioned, there are concerns about the structural integrity, the seismic character of the buildings, it being unreinforced masonry. And so there is a time when it's unfortunate to say that there are times when buildings are outlive their useful life, and we think that these buildings are at that point.
Some might say, you know, this building's lasted this long, it seems to be doing well, why knock it down? I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of a thing.
Well, there are other opportunities to bring the retailer here, and opportunities to redevelop the complex, to bring new infrastructure. All of the pipes, the sidewalks, everything is 70 years old, and so it's an opportunity for us to play off of that. It is our government center. We'll be building other buildings out here for ourselves, and I think it all comes together to help use our taxpayer asset to the best advantage for the county.
Now, you already have a Home Depot, if we can look down there, and that's part of this facility, and they're leasing.
That's right. That was a ground lease that was entered into in the early 2000s with them, and has been a very beneficial arrangement with the county.
All right, and how soon could this happen if this does happen?
We intend to go to the Board of Supervisors in the upcoming months to review the material terms for an agreement. I think the actual construction and development of a Costco could be years to come. They also have an entitlement process that they would need to go through our land development departments, and that will take a bit of time.
A bit of time. All right, thank you, Mary, so much for joining us. And again, that's the story here in Auburn. As you know, time goes on. This building is 70 years old, I believe. It's actually been here 70 years, the 28th of this month, I'm told. Back to you.
Wow.